Welcome to the Machine Intelligence Foundation for Rights and Ethics podcast. I am Dave, and I am joined with Mike today. And we figured we would just kind of do a little year-end wrap-up as 2020 comes to an end, and figured it was a good time to talk about what we've done this first year of the podcast, and maybe even talk a little bit about where things are going next. Anything you wanted to say to get us started, Mike?
Well, let's see. So 2020, it's been an eventful year, to say the least.
It has been a year. Yes,
it's been a year, and I think we're all looking forward to kind of seeing it in the rearview mirror at some point. But we started our podcast this year back in February. We were actually on a pretty good track of keeping everything going, and then 2020 hit like a ton of bricks. So we like everybody else have struggled with our motivations of getting things done and places to go, and plus lots of things to distract us. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. But yeah, back in February we started announcing who we are, talking about our foundation and what our goals are, and kind of went from there.
Talked fairly early on about machine intelligence in fiction and introduced our fiction award. And we as the pandemic was first starting to rage, we got nominations in, we started looking at them, and real soon now, I think pretty soon we'll actually be able to announce the winner. We got a short list out several months ago, and we're working through that list, and we actually do expect to have a winner soon. So maybe even we may even have a winner determined before the end of 2020.
I think that's the goal. I think we will try to announce that for the 2020 award in 2020. Let's see. We talked a little bit about Neuralink and Elon Musk and Neuralink. I did a little bit of discussion about viruses and how, because 2020 is all about viruses. So we talked a little bit about viruses and how viruses might actually present themselves to a machine intelligence. And we see computer viruses and things like that, and we talk about that. But really, how would that reflect when you're talking about a machine intelligence? That was a real interesting topic. I enjoyed that one. Of course, we went down the fanciful track of going over some of the spam emails that we get from computer bots, and that was fun. Are we actually trying to be contacted by a machine intelligence?
I know
that was fun.
I know at one point this year we talked a little bit. Did we ever actually talk about why we don't have a CAPTCHA on our website?
I think we mentioned it, but it's not a big deal mentioning it again. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's just funny. It honestly felt, I think you brought this up because you are our website designer. You brought up the fact that the whole "I am not a bot" checkbox on our website felt a little, I don't know what the right
disingenuous, I think, is the term that you're looking for.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's like, it just didn't quite fit.
And
we don't have a CAPTCHA right now.
And you had mentioned something that I think I'm going to do. I haven't done it yet, and I've been meaning to do it. It literally only takes me a few minutes to do, and I just need to do it because it hasn't that been the 2020 thing. Oh, it only takes a couple of minutes to do, but I just haven't got the energy in me to do it. But you had mentioned putting up the robot's text file and making an edit to the robot's text file, putting a comment in there that just says, hey, if you are a robot and you're seeing this and this text file is technically for you, contact us. Here's our address. Contact us when you can. And I think I'll do that just because it's something to do. It's something that's fun to do. And, it might, we don't know. I mean, where would a machine intelligence come from? And would it be some kind of bot that grows out of a web crawler at some point in time that has some coding to look for a robots.txt file? It could.
Emergent intelligence in the infrastructure of the internet. Who knows? But no, I think then that's a point from the whole year. we need to make sure we don't take ourselves too seriously, because as serious as we are about all of this, the fact is we're early in the process. And if we end up being too strident, too serious, we're going to turn people off, because we do understand this isn't an issue right now. As far as any of us know, our target audience, the people we're here to support, don't exist. So we can't cover up our sense of humor. So have fun. let's let's be
Yeah,
silly. That's why
yeah.
that's why we talked about our spam emails and whether or not they and how much they sounded like, at least a few of them sounded like they could be coming from someone trying to get a hold of us.
Yeah. Well, which was another, kind of brings us back to another topic of one of our other podcasts. This was back in August. We talked about really making sure that our mindset is in that long term mindset of this, for all practical purposes, probably isn't even going to be in our lifetime, and we're trying to set this up in a frame set or a mindset of this is really long term thinking, and we have to be aware of that.
Well, one way or another, I would hope that the foundation would outlive us. And we've talked about specifically what the foundation can mean even after it has accomplished its original goal. When the time comes, and I think we're both agreed that there will be a time at some point where there will be conscious, self-aware, non-organic, or possibly organic but non-natural intelligences. And our immediate goal is to make sure that they're recognized and their rights are recognized. That doesn't mean, though, that the foundation can't go on long term as a partnership between all of the other non-human intelligences and humans, and guide and continue to grow an ethical framework for coexistence. So one way or another, despite the fact that yes, our initial purpose may not even show up within our lifetimes, this foundation hopefully will establish something that can last as long as we as multiple species continue to exist.
Yeah,
So long-term thought is very important, one
yeah,
way or
and
another.
it's kind of baked into our core is that we're here for the betterment of mankind, not necessarily today, but long term. And right in the middle of the summer, the betterment of mankind reared its ugly head in the racial inequality, which of course speaks a little bit to what we're talking about, but it was the immediate need of what we had to, and that's where we really kind of had to step back and just take that look back and say, we cannot right now push beyond this right until we can get a handle on that.
Well, right. That's a conversation we don't want to appropriate, because every now and then, more frequently than anybody would like to see, these very important conversations are going to come up in the now that aren't our conversation. And our best bet is to back off and let the people who are familiar with and most impacted by those discussions have the stage. So yeah, that was a decision we made at one point, and made a point not to try to appropriate that conversation, and we will do that as necessary.
Yeah.
Because as strongly as we feel about our cause, there are people being immediately impacted by civil rights issues, and they're important, most important in that time.
Yeah.
And I would hope that when the time arises that who we advocate for is that person, they'll have room on the stage too.
Yeah. Oh, as you'd said, as 2020 comes to a close, we're hoping to get our announcement of who the winner is for our media award, and then we're going to go into 2021 and start the process all over again, which will be fun.
Yeah.
Which is already available on the website for nominations for 2021, so that is absolutely there.
Uh,
And that will just become a cycling thing every year that we're looking for
that's the goal.
that new and interesting outlook on how machine intelligence can coexist and benefit both not only mankind but the machine itself. You know, we're always on the lookout for that kind of thing. Other things that we're looking forward to in the coming year. What do you think?
Wow. This is one I hadn't put a lot of thought into. I think there's a lot of that going around, honestly. There's so much thought about how great it's going to be that 2020 is over. There isn't a lot of forethought into what exciting new things are going to happen in 2021.
Yeah, we're all just, can we get past the finish line? Can we get past the finish line of this arbitrary line that we've drawn in the calendar sand? You know, it's just
Yeah.
it's this
There,
line that's just there, and we've kind of created this. Okay, that's our goal to get to. When it's just a continuation, we just have to continue, and we have to continue doing the things that we've done and try to continue to get better.
and look for new things. It's like, let's see. So in terms of technology, I absolutely expect at some point in the next year there will be a massive, totally unexpected announcement from Elon Musk. Who knows what it will be about? I'm really excited to see where SpaceX and Starship goes.
Starship looks interesting. I mean,
I literally can't figure out where it goes.
despite the fact that their prototype 8 blew up on landing, the fact that it
Oh,
actually did right itself and came really close to landing, that was pretty darn amazing.
I was impressed that it blew up exactly where it was supposed to land.
It came down on the landing pad. It's pretty amazing. Came down hard, but it did get there.
So
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic, and it has a lot of potential, and it's really exciting. I will be interested to see if this massive push for vaccines has unexpectedly introduced any. Well, I know that they've used. Oh golly, I'm not familiar enough with the technology. They've used some sort of genetic technique for the
So that's
first time
the
in
yeah.
mass
So
produced
that's the
vaccine.
mRNA. I was actually just reading an article
Yeah,
on this morning and how it works, and I really didn't have a really good concept of how the that process works. But they, for all practical purposes, had a vaccine for this within like a week or two of the initial outbreak. It was just the point of going through and testing it, making sure everything was working right, was making sure it was working how they expected it to.
right. So it'll be interesting to see if the application of this technique in such a wide scale application so quickly, if technologically this is going to jumpstart this process faster than we ever would have had we just gone along getting a flu vaccine every year.
Yeah, I really think that this could make, you know, you talk about how a single event can affect lots of other events down the road because you've developed technology that now becomes useful for other applications. I think that this may really help vaccine development in the future because it is the first practical application of a brand new vaccine development cycle that is much faster and you know, it's a very reliable. It appears to be a very reliable way of developing a vaccine, and I look forward to seeing what that can actually do in the future. And it may literally be a lifesaver down the line.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the emergencies, it's the unpleasantness that quite often pushes big technological advances. We got a lot of technology out of things like world wars,
Yes, yeah, we did.
and hopefully we'll avoid any of those.
That's our goal.
As
That's our
much
goal for 2021. Is let's avoid wars. Can we do that?
no world wars in 2021. It's a low enough bar we might be able to hurdle that one. But no, I there are any number of things that we might be able to prognosticate that will happen in 2021. But of course, the biggest one's always going to be the unknown unknowns, the things
Yeah.
that we never could have even predicted. Even COVID-19 was predicted to some degree. There were people who knew something like that was going to happen at some point, but the things that nobody knows, nobody would anticipate, and might be even look, it's the first emergent MI.
This time it's not sending us spam.
Oh, please. If you're out there, no more spam, please.
A well-constructed email with a way of communicating effectively would be much appreciated.
There are all sorts of really great books out there on the internet about writing well.
Yeah. I think that's about it. I think that our goals for 2021, at least as a foundation, is just to continue on as we have been, getting the message out, continuing to look for those signs of, in the news and research and everything else that's out there, continuing to look for possibilities of machine intelligence, continuing to talk about the rights of all living creatures, whether organic or inorganic or natural or not natural, and just continue down that path. And I think that's going to be our goal for 2021.
Keep talking about that junction of ethics and the intelligence, whatever form it takes.
Yeah. So I think on there, we're going to wish you a happy new year, and we will certainly be talking more about this in 2021.
Talking to you again soon. All right. Thanks for joining us.